Hi everyone, so today in this video we are going to learn about the chapter sound and we'll go for the activity 9. In previous thing we have learned how sound is going to travel through air and how it is going to travel through the liquids. Now today we are going to see does it travel through the solids or not. Okay, to understand this thing we are going to do this activity. So take a meter scale or a long metal rod and hold it one end to your ear. Ask your friend to gently scratch or tap at the other end of the scale. So what you have to do, you are going to take a meter scale. You can use a steel scale or any long metal rod. You are going to take it and as shown in the figure, what you have to do, one should keep the one end of the scale near the ear and other should scratch the other end of the scale. So this fellow is going to hear the sound or not? Yes, he can hear. Can you hear the sound of the scratching? Ask your friends around you if they are able to hear the sound of. So the remaining people who are surrounding them, do they can hear it? Maybe they can hear, but this person who has kept the scale near the ear, he can hear the sound clearly. Okay, when compared to other fellows. Okay, so you can also perform the above activity by placing your ear at the end of the long wooden or a metallic table, asking your friend gently scratch the other end of the table. So in your classroom you can do this activity by lying on your bench. So one should keep the ear near to the table and one should scratch the table. So this person who is lying on the table, he can hear the sound. So bench is a solid thing, right? So by solids also you can hear the sound. So from these activities we can say that sound can travel through the solid. So till now what happened? Sound can travel through air, sound can travel through liquid and sound can travel through solid. But sound cannot travel through vacuum, right? So we find that sound can travel through wood or metal. In fact, sound can travel through any solid. You can perform interesting activities to show that travel through strings also. Have you ever made a toy telephone? So in your childhoods, have you heard about by using this glass or matchbox, you can make a telephone like thing by using the thread here or any strings here. So let us go for this activity. We have learned so far that vibrating objects produce sound and is carried in all directions in the medium. So the medium could be a gas, liquid or a solid. So yeah, so by seeing this image you can do this activity by yourself. So what you have to do, you have to take two glasses, paper cups or anything or two matchboxes and you are going to this you are going to put some hole here and you are going to tie a thread it and one is going to talk from one end and another is going to hold it near the ear and through this thread medium the sound is going to travel and he is able to hear the sound. Okay, so let us see how we hear sound through our ears. Okay, so till now we did some activities, we hear sound, we said this thing, but how we are able to hear the sound we are going to see here. Okay, the shape of the outer part of the ear is like a funnel. So if you see the outer part of the ear, it is like a funnel. Okay, you're going to see the ear shape is like this. Okay, when sound enters it travels down a canal at the end of which there is a thin stretched membrane and it is called as what? Eardrum. So if you go through the image here you are having the eardrum. Okay, so this is just like a funnel shape. Okay, so this is the funnel, you can say here is a funnel shape. So this is the outer part of the ear. Got it? And here at the inside you are having a stretched membrane. That means what? A rubber like membrane you are going to see. Okay. When sound travels through that membrane is going to vibrate. How it's going to vibrate? We are going to see it with the help of the activity here. Take a plastic or a tin can, cut it end. So you are going to take one tin can and so you are going to cut this end and the tin can will be like this. Stretch a piece of rubber balloon across one end of the can and fasten it with a rubber band. So you do this, you are going to put a rubber balloon and you are going to close it. Okay. with a rubber band. Put 4 or 5 grains of dry cereal on the stretched rubber. So on this rubber you are going to put some grains here. Okay, now ask your friend to speak hooray hooray from the open end. So from this other end your friend is going to speak. If you go through the image, so this is the bottle or the tin can here. To this you have put the balloon, and on this you have put the grains. From the other end he is going to speak it. He is saying hooray hooray. Okay, when he is saying hooray hooray, you are going to, if you see the image, the grains are lifting up. Okay, they are, because they are vibrating it. Observe what happens to the grain. The grains are going to jump up and down. Okay, in this way, this in the same way the eardrum is going to work. So this is the stretched membrane, or we can ear membrane of the eardrum. Okay, when sound travels here, we can hear the sound. So the eardrum is like a stretched rubber sheet. Sound vibrations make eardrum vibrate. The eardrum sends vibrations to the inner ear. From there, the signal goes to the brain, and then we can hear it. So this is the ear. Okay. So the sound comes from outside here. It travels like this. Let me say in a clear manner. So this is the ear. So sound is going to travel from here. So this will be the sound, and when it touches to the eardrum, this yellow part which you are going to see, that is the eardrum. When it touches sound, so it is going to vibrate, and with the help of these other parts, the signal goes to, from here it travels, and then it goes to the brain. The signal goes to the brain, and then the brain sends the signal to react it. Okay, so this is the eardrum. You can see the clear picture here. So this is the eardrum. Sound travels here. When the sound touches the eardrum, the sound travels to the inner part of the ear, and then to these areas, and then it travels, and then it goes to the brain here. Got it? So you have to remember one thing here. You should never put a sharp objects or pointed objects or hard things into your ear. It can damage the eardrum, and the damaged eardrum can lead to impaired hearing. Okay. Now, as I said at the starting of this chapter, we are having some units like amplitude, time period, and frequency of a vibration. How sound is going to be less or sound is going to be different, and how the male voice and the female voice and the children voices are different. You are going to see everything. We have learned that the to and fro motion of an object is known as vibration, right? You know what is vibration. So this motion is also called as what? Oscillatory motion. So oscillatory motion and vibration both are same. Okay, the to and fro or back and front motion of an object or a body is known as vibration or the oscillatory motion. So you have learned in the earlier classes about the oscillatory motion and time period. In your previous classes you have learned these two things, right? So the number of oscillations per second is called frequency of an oscillation. The number of oscillations, okay, that means the to and front motion in a second is called as what? Frequency of a oscillation. So and frequency is expressed in the unit hertz, and its symbol is Hz. Okay, hertz. A frequency of 1 Hz is 1 oscillation per second. That means what? One frequency is equal to 1 oscillation per second. If an object oscillates 20 times in 1 second, what would be its frequency? Same, that means 20 Hz. Got it? One oscillation is equal to 1 Hz, then 20 times in 1 second, oscillations is nothing but 20 Hz. It can recognize many familiar sounds without seeing the object producing them. So, by hearing the barking sound of the dog, you can say, by hearing the sound itself, you can say dog is there. By hearing the cat sound, you can say cat is there. By hearing your sound or your mother sound, you can say your mother is present somewhere in the house. Or by hearing your dad noise or dad voice, you can say your dad is coming or your dad is saying something to you, right? So how it is possible? Okay, these sounds must be different to enable you to recognize them. Have you ever thought what factors make them different? So animal sounds are different and human being sounds are different, and different animals are having different sounds. Why? Why? Because of amplitude and frequency are the two important properties of a sound. So amplitude and frequency, these are the things mainly responsible for the sound. We can differentiate sound on the basis of their amplitudes and frequencies. Let us see what are these. So loudness and pitch. Amplitude is nothing but so let us go for the amplitude here. Amplitude is nothing but the highness of the sound, we can say. So if the amplitude is more, sound will be more, and the amplitude is less, the sound will be less. Got it? So let us understand the loudness and the pitch of the sound here. So take a metallic tumbler and a tablespoon. Strike the tablespoon gently at the brim of the tumbler. So what you are going to do? You are going to take a tumbler which is made up of metal. You can take a steel also and strike the tumbler with the help of the spoon. So by taking the spoon, you are going to beat the rim of the tumbler. What you are observing, you are going to observe the sound. Hear the sound produced. Now bang the spoon on the tumbler and hear the sound produced again. Is the sound louder when the tumbler is struck hard? If you beat the tumbler slowly, you are going to see slow sound. If you beat the tumbler loudly, what happened? The sound will be louder, right? So now suspend a small thermocol ball touching the rim of the tumbler. Vibrate the tumbler by striking it. See how far the small ball is displaced. So they are saying that in this video, in this image, so they have taken here what they have taken thermocol ball. Okay, by tying with the thread, they have taken a thermocol ball and they have struck the ball. So if you when you strike the ball, you can see the movement like this, just like the pendulum in your previous class. You can see the movement. Okay, so they are saying observe this distance here. Okay, so the displacement of the ball is the measure of the amplitude. Okay, how much displacement has been taken? If you beat the tumbler slowly, the distance traveled or the displacement traveled is less. If you beat the tumbler loudly, so this is the thermocol ball, loudly the displacement will be more. The distance traveled will be more, and that is called as the measure of the amplitude of the vibration of the tumbler. Okay, now strike the tumbler gently and then little harder. Compare the amplitudes of vibration in two cases. In which case the amplitude is larger? In second case, right? When the tumbler is hit harder, the sound is also more, vibration is also more, and the distance covered is also more. Okay, so the loudness of the sound is proportional to the square of the amplitude of the vibration produced. So when you beat slowly, the sound will be less, amplitude will be less, and vibration will be less. When you beat harder, the sound, amplitude, and the vibration also will be more. So, for example, they gave one more. If the amplitude becomes twice, the loudness increased by the factor 4. Okay, whatever the movement you are giving to the tumbler, that will be double. That means the amplitude is nothing but the sound. Okay, the vibration which you are going to give, that will be double. The sound will be double. The loudness is expressed in a unit called as decibel. What is the unit of loudness of the sound? Decibel. The following table gives the idea of the various sources. Okay, so the normal breathing which you are going, that sound will be 10 decibel, and slowly you are talking at 5 meter, soft whisper will be 30 decibel, normal conversation will be 60 decibel. So normal conversation means two persons are talking and their sound will be 60 decibel. Busy traffic 70 decibel and average factory 80 decibel. So above 80 decibel the noise becomes physically painful. If you hear any sound that is above 80 decibel, that is going to become noise. The loudness of the sound depends upon its amplitude. Okay, when the amplitude of a vibration is large, the sound produced is loud. When the amplitude of a vibration is large, the sound produced will be loud. As I said earlier, when there is amplitude will be more, the sound will be double the amplitude, right? When the amplitude is small, the sound produced is feeble. Compare the sound of the baby with an adult. Is there any difference? If you compare the baby sound and the adult sound, there is a lot of difference, right? Even two sounds are equally loud, they differ in some way. Okay, let us see. The frequency of determines the shrillness or the pitch of a sound. Pitch is nothing but the sharpness of the sound. If you observe people's sound only, some voice will be, even they talk slowly, their voice is going to high. Listen high, okay? Even they talk slowly also, their voice will be louder. Why? Because of the shrillness or the pitch of the sound. If the frequency of the vibration is higher, we say the sound is shrill and has higher pitch. The frequency, if the vibrations will be more, the sound will be more, right? So the pitch will be more. Because of this factor only, the voice will be different. If the frequency of vibration is lower, the sound has lower pitch. For example, they gave a drum vibrates with a lower frequency, therefore it produces a low pitched sound. So here they gave the wave like thing, okay? Drum here, its amplitude will be less. Got it? The wave, you are going to see the wave is very much distanced here. So that is the amplitude, and here the whistle sound is more, the amplitude is more. That means the wave is so much tighter, so that the whistle sound is more when compared to the drum sound. So the pitch will be sharp for which thing? For the whistle. On the other hand, a whistle has a high frequency and therefore produces a sound higher pitch. A bird makes a high pitched sound, whereas a lion makes a low pitched roar. However, the roar of the lion is very loud while the sound of the bird is quite feeble. So every day you hear the voices of children and adults. Do you find any difference in their voices? Can you say that the frequency of the voice of the child is higher than that of an adult? Usually the voice of woman has higher frequency than that of a man. So if you compare a man and woman, the voice of woman will be more when compared to man, and when you compare a child and an adult one, the child sound will be more because of the pitch. So woman pitch will be more and the man pitch will be less. Adult pitch will be less and child pitch will be more. So that's the reason there is a difference between the voices. So thank you for watching the video. For more videos, please subscribe the channel.